All right, and welcome back to Weekend with Betsy. It's now time for What's the Deal? And remember, like I mentioned earlier, tonight we're talking about speaking out, and especially when it comes to matters to do with sexual harassment. And of course, I have two lovely ladies. Valentine Njoroge, it's great to see you. You look
good
dashing.
To see you too. Yeah, my arm is out. My shoulder. Well.
Okay, and of course we have Sheila. And of course we have ladies.
Yeah.
And we have Sheila Kwamboka. Eric.
Thank you very much.
We have ladies and
You
Sheila.
look good too.
We have ladies and Sheila. That's
All right, ladies. Okay.
All
All right. Okay, can we start the show?
Yeah.
So Eric unfortunately, left us, but he went to pursue other opportunities.
When you say left us, it's like...
No, not like that. Like, he left. What's the
He
deal?
went to find another polygamous family.
He found it.
All right, ladies, listen, we have to get into our discussion tonight. And we're talking about sexual harassment and speaking up or speaking out about it. And I'll start with myself. Because I know, Valentine, you're just waiting to...
I'm waiting to
So,
ask,
listen,
yes.
so, I've experienced it, yeah? And I remember the worst was, I was younger. And you know how you get into, like, a lift?
Yeah.
In those government offices, you're going to look for, like, those documents. And then, like, the lift is full. And then, there's just, a random guy who's just, like, trying to, wiggling, and it was so uncomfortable. And I didn't say anything. Because I was
So
like...
he's just rubbing himself against you.
And it was completely disgusting.
Yeah.
Completely.
It's unwarranted.
But I could not say anything. And actually that resonates with so many tweets I'm seeing. People saying like, this happened to me, but because it was my lecturer, my employer, I could not say anything.
Worse still, when it's a stranger. I've experienced all from, like, weird variations of sexual harassment.
Weird variations.
Yeah, a simple one. I think the first time that I ever knew that this was, there's something weird, is being in a school bus, in a Kenya bus. And then same thing, you're there with your school uniform. You look like you're an underage. And someone's dad is standing behind you. This was before Mishuki rules where you put on your seatbelt. So these men are just, it was known that you hold your bag here in the front and the back you turn and face the
like there's a pole.
Something should be
put
behind
your back
you.
next to the seat.
Exactly, because this man will come and this is weird. That is not your phone.
Did you say anything?
Yeah.
What did you say?
Of course not.
You
You're
didn't say
afraid. At this point, I'm in primary school. What am I going to say?
Yeah.
The only thing I know, and it was so bad because I didn't even know that something, I felt like maybe I'd done something wrong. And then when we were in school and one day we were talking and, everyone is like, they're just saying it so nonchalantly, like, no, when you were standing, did you see this girl standing with her bag?
Yes.
You have to put your bag behind.
And then it's like everyone knows this is the this is how we protect
code of
ourselves.
Conduct,
This is the code of
Rather
conduct
than
instead of the guy
speaking
is...
out. Exactly.
All right, Valentine,
Right.
want to share something?
The first time anything like that happened to me was in Nyayo House. I was lining up, waiting
Government
for my...
office.
Government office. I was 17.
Government offices.
I'm standing in line. I've been sent by my dad. You go talk to this person. He'll give you all the forms. And then now you go stand in line. So I'm standing in line. The guy standing behind me, he was too close, but this guy had a plan. Like he put his hand in his pocket and he's now standing so close to me. We look like we're together. Till finally, I just got irritated and I yelled at him in Kikuyu. I was like, where? No, Hana Fafa.
So
like, you look like my father.
Yeah.
Like, then he just got embarrassed. Then I moved away from him. So now the whole hall, everyone starts looking at him like,
But what gave you that courage to say that?
Because I'm a spoilt brat.
Yeah.
I'm a spoiled brat. Like my mother taught me
Yeah.
from a young age. She was like, you can be rude. These people are being horrible to you.
Yeah.
You can be rude. So she armored me and empowered me from a very young age.
Yeah.
You can speak up. You don't have to be polite.
Right.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us, we're polite. And
Very
then
polite.
when it happens, you're like, is this really happening?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did I do?
And that's
Am I wearing the wrong
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah.
Am I standing too close to him? You immediately, and then you're kind of in denial. Like, is this really happening? Is this my life right now?
Yeah.
So she was just like, be rude.
And
You
say
don't owe
something.
people politeness.
So
yes.
then why is it that people are not willing to speak out? Like, in this case, Sheila and
Who was I
myself.
going to tell? The conductor.
Maybe another
people.
parent, maybe
the other
somebody
people.
else.
You see, this is a crazy part. I see people talk about how society, the fabric of society, something happens like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. We do not have morals in this society. And I'm like, dude, we never had morals. Because here I am, it's a student in class 7.
Yeah.
This is happening to me. There's other grown-ups,
Yeah.
people's fathers and mothers in this bus. who are saying nothing. Who am I as a class 7 student to say something? Who am I going to? You know, and when I tell, I'll excuse me, mama, huyu amenifanyia hivi. And that mama will say, mimi ninataka tu kufishukia hapa Kawangware. You know, so nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Yeah. It's also, in that situation, I spoke up because it didn't cost me anything. I didn't know the guy. I didn't want anything from him. There was no relationship past that point. But if, for example, it had been the guy had been sent to by my dad, you go, this guy will stamp the forms. If it was him who had done something, would I have been able to say something then? If it's an employer, you know what I mean? There are situations where, as a woman, you know, like this is your place of work, for example. You need to turn up daily. Even you're in the lift, all this. Imagine. So those are the situations we don't speak in. And
also just looking at this conversation, because there are guys, it's not just a woman thing, and many guys are talking about, and especially in their workplaces, saying, you know, my HR, you know, like, you know, did this to me. But, you know, because you want to keep your job, you just have to chill. So then how do we get courage, and what happens? Will I put my job on the line? You
see, I feel like we also need to highlight the fact that part of the reason why we don't speak up, for example, I don't want to be that babe who's just whistle crying wolf, you know, because this isn't going to be the last time. This is, you see, so because of the frequency of how many times it happens, sometimes you don't want to speak up. Am I going to speak up today, tomorrow, the next day, or do I just say, Spandi Basti?
So you'll just be there, just, you know.
Yeah, so part of the reason why you don't speak up, especially if it's something that, if it's a one-off, you know, if it's like you've gone somewhere and someone has, you know, you don't usually go there, and that happens, you might be like, wait, or, you know, that happened, I don't want to, but like in the bus, in a matatu, I know I'm going to experience this the evening as I'm coming back home, you know, so even if I speak out, it's like a process. It's like a process
every single day.
So then do you protect yourself? So then what happens? What's the
But also sometimes I've spoken up in a working environment where we went for a team building thing. I think I've shared this story before.
Yeah, you told us.
And I spoke up. There were women at that table. When it came time to now sit down with the boss and say what had happened. Were they supportive? No. Yeah, even a guy who was my friend, I was like, yo, for real, you're seriously not going to say anything. And so he just chose to shut up.
So what happened?
So that lack of support, it's like, oh, Valentine's the only one talking. Like, I'm the special one. I think I am being harassed. Like,
she likes complaining.
Yes, or she wants attention, or blah, blah, blah. I'm like, this is not the attention I want, trust me. Like, you know?
So then, like, looking at solutions, because our time is running out, if I'm a woman or a guy, who's that person who I should be able to say, look, this happened to me, you know, somebody, you know, raped me, somebody harassed me, somebody, you know, spanked me, somebody did something that was not right to me. Who's that person then?
It's HR, typically. As much as guys on Twitter are saying it's the HR in the office who's the problem. I think also as an employer, as we were thinking about this topic, I was like, well, I need to create an environment even within my team, where if something happens, they can say something.
But do those things work really?
They do.
You do, because you create the company culture. You create the company culture. If you work in a culture where people have sex for jobs, for example, you quickly learn this is that culture in this office. Yes. So it's up to you to figure out what you want, what kind of environment do you want within your workplace, especially you, the boss, you, the entrepreneur.
Out of the office, say like, you know, in the estate, in the matatu, in the lift, what happens? Who is that person who you should confide in?
I think, you know, even aside from confiding, because there's numerous challenges about speaking up as an individual. You're like, you know, will Valentine judge me? You know, and then will she accept what I have to say? Will I be victim shamed? You know, there's all that. But then, to the question that you just asked is, you know, where do we take our complaints? I think first, you know, considering the amount of, you know, femicides and you know, violence against women or meted towards women in such a short amount of time, I would think that, you know, the government or, you know, powers that be would have, just in show of solidarity to women, say, but mostly to women, then introduce the culture that she's talking about, because this harassment is happening in public spaces. Do you remember there was a tweet, there's a lady, let me tell you how bad it is.
Because I know my choice was happening
in men who are watching and they for real can't understand it. And every time we have this conversation, it's like men on that side, women on this side, feminists, you just hate men. No. Try and walk in a lady's shoes for one day. And I read this tweet this lady posted, and she was like, ladies, if there was no man for just 24 hours, what would you do with your time? Do you know every single woman on that post from all over the world said, I would go out at night
for a walk.
I would go for a walk. Because these are some of the challenges when you leave your house and you're going outside. Who are you afraid of? Are you afraid of meeting me and Valentine and say, hey, Betty, no.
Yeah,
in fact, if you met a bunch of ladies out there, you would high five, you know.
In fact,
you would dress whatever, however you choose to dress. So the culture has allowed, you know, time and time, over time, that men feel that, you know, or some men feel that they are okay, it's allowed to utadu, you know. So you need to come out and categorically state that, by the way, this is not accepted. Do not touch a woman like this. This should be, the way there's no smoking signs. I mean, we got that no smoking, no exit, we got it. Can we now say, don't touch someone like that? When you're speaking to someone, do you understand? Do people understand what public, personal space is?
What about the progressive laws now?
I don't even on a personal level, we can take personal responsibility. I want to live in a safe Nairobi. I want to live in a safe Kenya. So what does that demand of me? It means that if I see somebody being harassed, I side with that person and I call out the person. Sometimes you're in shock, you don't have the vocabulary in that moment to even say something. But me who's standing there can be like, excuse you, what are you doing? You're a bit too close. Did she say yes to this treatment? You know, you can, and then even on social media, we see somebody saying something, quickly we start interrogating the woman. What were you wearing?
Yes, exactly.
What time is that? Had you drunk? All these things. Why can't we ask, who is this guy? Has he done this before? Does anybody know him from high school or whatever? Because by the time you're doing some stuff in public, you've done it in private, you've succeeded, and now you feel bold to do something in public. Yes. So I think we can take personal responsibility. It's good you're pointing at government and saying we need laws. We do have beautiful laws. We've got an amazing sexual assault bill, which has minimum sentencing for once. But I'd like to see people take personal responsibility, where you're just like, no, this won't happen. When I'm around, there's safety.
But guys, I'm not talking about laws. I'm talking about
the take home.
You see, like for example, when we had such a garbage problem in this country, right? What did the government do? They did, it's called civic education. You can't talk about everything, even the laws that you're talking about, it's all punitive. It's all, if you do it, nitakufunga. But what we're saying is, we can prevent it. There's a lot of people who don't even know. When we're speaking harassment, they're like, me, wademu Nairobi tu wanapenda kuongea vitu za wazungu. But this is the reality. We are interacting. Before, we never used to interact the way we do. The babas who are doing there in the evening would meet at the fireplace, but we didn't have intimate, you know, moments that you're meeting a man privately in his office, in the public space, in the buses. This is a common problem all over the world. Even India, Japan, they decided women go in different trains, men go, it's a big problem. So if you're saying that people, you know, I'm responsible for myself and I'm interacting with you who doesn't even know harassment exists.
No, I'm saying,
so
we support each other.
So the government needs to look at, and I know I hate saying government, but it is something that you definitely need to look at, and in terms of civic education and ensuring that everyone understands that there's a harassment going on.
So then going back to speaking up about something, how can we empower ourselves so that, you know, if my daughter, your son, you know, my niece, you know, my sister, you know, goes through something, they're able to say it?
I think you have to role play. I don't think in the moment of crisis is when you're now looking for words and things to say. I think you have to kind of practice. If this happens, what will I say?
Isn't that so sad?
It is.
Isn't that sad?
Like you're anticipating it.
But the truth is, have you ever met a woman who hasn't been harassed?
No.
So it's not that you're anticipating it, it's that this is where we live. Right?
So
that's why what you're saying is so important, that it's a matter of civic education. Men and women need education on how to coexist and have everybody be safe. So as a woman, sorry, but if you're going to be out here until our men change, yes, they are harassers. People keep saying some men. I don't know men who stand up and say, take your hands off that woman. That's so even you are culpable.
Collaborating.
Yes.
I just want to add, I think in terms of speaking up, if we really want to help people speak out against something that has happened, I think then we need to, like for example, Valentine. In our two scenarios, we didn't speak out. But Valentine was empowered by her parents to understand that if this happens, do not hesitate, even if everyone. So I
be rude. Those are the words I was
because you know that your confidence was the fact that if this happens and you go home and you tell your mom or your dad, they got you.
I didn't get
Most
my
people
passport
don't speak out because
yes, it's true.
It happens to me. Then I go and tell my mom, and my mom tells me, hizo tabia tufanyangi hapa. You know, so
Yeah.
that
Which is
secrecy,
the
that
reality.
veil of secrecy,
Yeah, yeah.
you're killing people. Let people speak and support them. No victim shaming.
I'd also like to say,
Finally.
finally, and it's kind of off subject, but it's still relevant. Men fear going to jail because they think they might be raped. Women live day to day with
Yes.
the fear of being raped.
Preach.
And being assaulted and being harassed.
Yeah.
It's part of our
Daily
day to day.
existence.
So that thing you fear, Tia, I won't rob someone because if I'm caught, don't drop the soap. That thing
That's
you
us.
fear, that's how we live. So as much as we're talking about sexual harassment, even understand by the time a woman says something, it's probably happened like 5 times, and now is when she's got the guts to speak. Yes.
I like that.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much. We've run out of time, but also I'll just be looking at the tweets. And of course, it had a lot of traffic in regard to people just reacting to this particular topic. Thank you so much, Sheila Valentine, for your time. And let me just look at a number of tweets here. This is definitely an emotive one. Mika Keter, actually, I want you to react to this one. What can you say to ladies harassing men sexually through their dress code?
Najua,
I know.
that particular one.
This dress code has harassed you.
Yeah, no, but honestly, I think, I think everyone
Okay.
needs to control themselves.
yeah.
You know, now, kenye umevaa if inifanye nisikie kufanya kitu ingine. In court, you can't say, she tempted me. It's the action that you did. So control yourself.
All right. Thank you. We're running out of time, but before we go for a break, I want to give out a lovely viewer a hamper from Nivea. Now listen, the nourishing Nivea Cocoa Butter Lotion doesn't just leave your skin radiant, but it ensures that your skin remains glowing no matter the weather. Hot or cold, rainy, sunny, the Cocoa Butter enriched Nivea Lotion nourishes your skin, giving you that soft, silky looking skin. So tonight, I want you to tell me who you'd want us to gift that hamper with and why. What benefit will they get from this particular one? So tweet me and I'll announce a winner before we wrap up the show tonight. But for now, though, we'll take a short commercial break. Coming back with sports. Don't worry.